All right, we're into the top 10. At number 10, we have watch more basketball. You'd be surprised how many players, I think most players who are serious about the game are fans of the game and watch a lot of basketball. But, you'd be surprised. As a trainer, I talk to kids where I'm like, I could tell you're a fan. Some of these kids out here are not watching basketball. They're not watching. They're not watching the college game. They're really just watching highlights on YouTube, which is okay too. But man, you got to watch games. You got to watch basketball. You got to feel like all the best players. You talk to any like high level talented player, like they watch basketball. They grew up watching basketball. They could tell you about their favorite players and different players that they watch. Like, you got to turn into somewhat of a basketball junkie, and making that a habit, watching more basketball, trust me, can have a huge impact on you as a basketball player. I'll tell this quick story, which I've told to people before. One of the first times I visited Ghana, I played pickup with some guys. We played like 3-on-3. I was playing with this guy, friend of mine to this day. His name's Richard. And Richard was on my team. We're playing 3-on-3. Most of the guys I was playing with in Ghana were kind of raw, not necessarily as skilled as I was. They just moved differently, athletic and played hard and had some skills. But just the way I played was little bit different. Just the style, like you could just automatically see the difference between, black kid who grew up in America, playing basketball in America and stuff. And, these guys in Ghana, styles are just different. The way we move, the way we pass, the way we dribble, pivot, footwork, shooting form, like everything, you just tell. It's just a lot of difference in mechanics. This guy, Richard, who was on my team, who was playing with me, he was playing like me. He was reading my cuts, hitting me on slip passes, reading stuff with his eyes. Like we were really in tune. And so after the game, we went back to his place. I got to kick it with him and stuff. And I'm like, Richard, what makes you different? Because I'm not saying you're like the only player out here who plays like this, but clearly you're different than most of your peers in terms of how you play. Like you play like me. Like, how did you get like that? Like, why are you different from like how they play? And what he said to me was he grew up watching. He's in Ghana. He's never been to America before. He grew up watching religiously on YouTube highlights of Magic Johnson, Shaquille O'Neal, and I think he said Hakeem Olajuwon. And that is what showed him how to play a certain way, just by watching. Now, obviously, he had some kind of raw skills already, but by watching, just by watching those guys a lot, he picked up on, you'll be surprised how much you can pick up and adopt, right? And how much of us as players watch, we watch AI, we watch MJ do the fadeaway. Like, all you want to do is go out there and try it, right? This guy, Richard, in Ghana, watched Magic, Hakeem, Shaq, and not to say he just became them, but like his style of play was affected. So just by watching basketball, just by watching, it can change how you think about playing when you get out there. It's not like an automatic translation. It's not like the Matrix where you plug in and you watch, it's like, oh, I know Kung Fu. No, it's not like that. But just what you watch, what you consume, right? Especially as a player, you're watching players do certain things. That affects what you look to do out there as a player. So trust me, watching more basketball is a very powerful basketball habit that can change your basketball life in more ways than you may realize.